listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey there, this is Brian Sebastian. Welcome to Movie Reviews and More. Here we are in the month of November. Time is flying by really, really quickly. Thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we have a special show today. And I want to welcome back Zorianna Kit. I'm so thankful that she's here. I don't know what to do when she's not here.
I've missed you too, Brian. I'm happy to be back.
Which is good. And I have to say this because I love saying this, all the way from Chicago, Linda Steele. And what I like to do is I like to have everybody introduce their own selves because you're used to doing this, and I think it's special that way.
Okay.
Tell us who you are, where you came from, and how you got into fitness.
Great. Okay. So my name is Linda Steele, and I'm from Chicago. I actually do own a gym in Chicago called Steele Training and Fitness, and I book out about 10 to 15 clients a day, train them. Every hour it's a different personality, so it's really exciting for me. And when I'm not doing my training and running my own gym, I'm a professional model. I model bikini, fitness, and fashion. I have a degree in the field from DePaul University. I hold 9 different certifications, which qualifies me as an elite trainer. I am a expert in nutrition, senior fitness, and exercise therapy. I'm sometimes co-host on UK Health Radio. I write articles for a couple different magazines. So I'm super busy.
Zorianna, you know what really got my attention? She loves going to the movies.
Oh, great. Yeah,
she has her own rating system of a barbell system, which I thought was pretty cool.
So the more barbells, the
better the film.
What's the limit? 5 barbells?
4. I wish there were 5 because sometimes it's hard to qualify one as 2.5, 3, or 4. I wish there were 5, but there wasn't enough room for 5, so we had to go with 4.
Do you give half barbells?
Yes.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
So what's a 4 barbell movie for you?
For me, Thor Ragnarok.
What did you like about Thor? Have you watched the other Thors and the other Avenger movies?
All of them. I love all of them. What did I like most about it? He is just fun and funny, and he's sarcastic, and I feel like we're related. When you can actually relate to the characters, even though he's an Avenger. So he's just fun and funny and always exciting. The movies are always great, every one of them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So if you could give more barbells to that one, I think you probably would.
I probably would.
Yeah.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So are you familiar with the Marvel Universe in general? Have you always been into that universe, or is it just since these movies have been coming out that you've kind of got into them?
I would say even when I was a kid, the comic books and so forth, I always, took a look. So I was always kind of into all of the characters.
Do they somehow equate something to you that you take into your job every day? I mean, is it about the strength that they represent, because you stand for strength in your day-to-day job?
Yeah.
Or is it their morals or villains versus good versus bad? Is that all kind of
all of it? All of it. I hate to even admit it, but I have a thing for revenge. And I feel like
I think we all do deep down.
That's funny.
So, I feel like every one of them has revenge in it, and the bad guy always gets what he has coming.
Yeah. I think
that's funny. I like that.
There's a lot of bad guys out there that I think we'd want to see them get their comeuppance, right? Yeah,
right.
Especially in this day and age, there's a lot of people that were like, all right, your time's up, but come on, when's that comeuppance coming? It really
one of
is.
the most valuable lessons that one of my very good friends taught me was to just have patience. Karma usually does its job. So I'm not a patient person. I want to see right away, karma do its job. But I've learned over the years that if you wait long enough and you just sit back and keep your mouth shut, everything just gets taken care of all by itself.
Yeah, being patient is really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this Instagram world of, everything is Snapchat, where everything is instant, to actually sit back and be patient and let things unfold. Being passive is not what our world is like these days. Everyone has to be constantly doing something.
Right.
Now, I've always wondered about somebody who trains, like you said, you train up to 15 clients a day. When you train them, Do you consider that your workout as well, or do you have to do your own workouts outside of that? Because I figured, oh, great, wow, if you're training that much, that many people, you're probably working out yourself as well.
I'm really not. You know, I will get their weights for them and put them back on the racks for the most part, but you don't see me working out next to them. I'm usually really careful about watching them do correct form. So I don't really get my workouts in. And so I do have to schedule out my own workouts. And you know, when I hear somebody say, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had time to work out. I just don't have time." I understand, because I'm in the building all day long, and sometimes I don't have time for my own workouts. So what I've had to start doing was I look at my schedule at the beginning of the week, and if I see a window of about 2 hours, I'll block it out and make sure that nobody gets in during that time. And I just make sure that that's when I set time aside for my workouts.
But don't you ever feel like sometimes if I write all day long for work, the last thing I want to do is go home and write for pleasure or write something on the side? So if you're there all day, I'm sure the last thing you want to do is then do it yourself.
Yes, I open my gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, and if I know that I don't have clients in the morning, I'll make sure I get my workout first thing. This way nothing comes in the way, and I'm not too tired to do it. I mean, I'm tired because it's 5 o'clock in the morning, but I know that it's, you know, that's my time. And if it's not, I don't usually work out past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It has to be sometime before, otherwise I'm too tired, and I've been doing it all day long.
Yeah.
You know, by that time I've had about 9 clients. I don't want to work out myself. So yes, you're right about that.
Wow.
I'm interested that I don't know of another female gym owner. How did that happen? 'Cause I'm really happy to know one. Do you know of another one? Because I don't.
I don't. In fact, most of the professional fitness people who you might see, they make their money off of sponsorships. And you know, those sponsor different, you know, protein supplements or you know water or whatever, and they make a lot of money that way. I'm one of the only people. In fact, I don't know another person who actually took their training career into owning a gym and continuing on with actual training people. I have clients. I have some of the same clients that I've had since I first started. And that was about 13, 14 years ago, and I still have them.
Wow, that says a lot about your regiment, though.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like all of them look like fitness models by any means. But they come to me because they need the knowledge, they need I hold them accountable, they need the accountability, and sometimes they just want someone else to think for them. You know, they just want to show up. They don't want to think about how much weight am I supposed to curl or what should I do next. They want to come in. They come in for the conversation. Sometimes we don't even lift a weight. I'll have somebody come in. They'll be having a terrible day, whether it be something happen at work or with their family, and they'll sit down on the bench, dressed and ready to go, and we won't lift one weight. We'll just sit and talk the whole hour.
I think that's great. That's because it's also therapy. I mean,
it is. So I rarely, I shouldn't say I don't ever, I don't like to say never or always, but I rarely have to cancel on a client. I can't remember the last time I called in sick, and they can count on me, so they know I'll be there for them.
Was it hard to become an owner of that gym? Because you used to have 2.
I used to have 2, and it just took up way too much of my time, and I didn't feel like I could give everybody enough attention. So when I first became a trainer, I was at a major chain in Chicago, and I built up a huge clientele. I mean, I had a 3-month waiting list to even get on my schedule. And I'm not going to mention names, but I realized that I could actually make a better bottom dollar than the company I was working for. And I just decided to take a chance. I went off on my own, and all of my clients followed me, all but one. And it wasn't because that one didn't like me. It was because it was a convenient thing for her. She worked literally across the street from the gym that I was leaving. So she wasn't able, it just wasn't convenient. She couldn't get to work on time had she come with me. So I had, my gosh, I don't remember if it was like 60, 70 clients follow me.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, so I went to this other gym, and I leased space from their gym for about 2 years until I got everything together so that I could actually open up my own facility. And I looked around a couple different places, decided about how big I wanted the gym to be, and I just went from there. I contacted a company to purchase equipment and signed a 5-year lease I just re-signed with them. And again, my clients all followed me. You know, they followed me wherever I went. They were,
you.
yeah.
What's the biggest challenge in being a business owner at the same time as also being an artist to a certain degree? Because lifting weights and working out, you're modeling, that's a very artistic, creative side, one part of the brain. But being a business owner and taking care of all the logistics and the finances, that's another part of the brain, and not everyone is using both on their day-to-day jobs.
Well, I will tell you what makes it easy. Because my schedule is so regimented, it makes it very easy. I know exactly what I have to bring to eat every day. I know exactly what time I'm starting. I know what my schedule is like. I know the window of opportunity that I have to do things like run payroll, pay the bills, delegate. I would say the hardest thing for me is to delegate. And for one, I have this way of, I know that if I want it done right, I'm going to have to do it myself. But I have a great staff right now, and I'm getting a lot better at delegating. What I've recently done was I actually spent time to get processes in place so that they can actually take over exactly what I want them to do. And they've been with me long enough to know that I don't cut corners. I want everything done, a certain way. And they're good. The staff I have right now is awesome. I hope nobody ever leaves me.
Again, going back to the basics, the thing I really like this, with all that going on, Zoriana, she has time to go to the movies. And she actually gets dressed up to go to the movies. Would you say you have a shoe fetish?
Yes. Did you see my shoe room?
I didn't get a chance to see that, but I love the boots.
Brian, oh my gosh. Wait till you see my I'm going to show you my shoe room before we leave.
Okay. But the thing, Zoriana, was she gets dressed up and she goes to iPics and watches films. I mean, that's not easy. I don't know of another fitness, but I usually drag my friends to go to the stuff that they're doing. Like, you want to see what we do? It's not easy doing what we do when we have to see a screening every night, or sometimes three times a day.
Do you know, it forces me to sit and get my mind off of things.
Absolutely. And
that's one of the reasons that I love it. And sometimes I have to force myself because I have so much going on up here, so much going on at all times. And I feel like I'll forget something. If I don't constantly have it all going on up there, I'm going to forget something and something's going to be left behind. So it actually does force me to sit, relax, take my mind off of everything.
For me, it's funny. It's kind of the opposite. I work out in the mornings. I run. I also have a gym membership for rainy days. But in my house, I also have an elliptical trainer. And there are some days where, whether it's with the kids and their schedule, that I can't make my early morning group runs. So that means I have to do the elliptical. And to me, I love the outdoor portion of the fitness, but when I have to be on that elliptical trainer, I dread, and it's such a chore to go on there. So I like to watch movies when I'm on it, because to me it passes the time.
Yes.
Because without it, it's just I'm looking at the clock and the hour takes forever. And then if I'm watching, like, I binge watched the entire Stranger Things season 2 on the elliptical trainer over the course of a few days, because then I go over an hour. Like, I just want to watch another episode. I'll just continue running on the elliptical trainer.
Right. You almost have to. I get so bored on cardio. So I put my good music on, and I just get into it with my music. I don't watch movies, but I do my music. But I always have the doors open at my gym. Same thing. I like the outdoor feel. Yeah. But I don't run outside. I'm glued to inside the building.
For your job. It's your business.
Right. Yeah. But I can't work out at home because, again, I'll be like, the laundry. I have to empty the dishwasher. I'll be in the middle of lifting. I'm like, I have to go do something.
Yes.
So I don't work out.
You kind of talked about, when I go to the movies, I think about, okay, what else do I have to do? But it gives my body a chance to relax, but I'm still thinking. So I think
it's because you sit down finally. Like, you're forced to sit down. Yeah. Because if I wasn't forced to sit down, I'd be moving, getting up, doing something, changing course, walking this way, then going, wait, I got to go this way.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly right.
So I think step number 1 in the process is to actually sit down, and then everything else starts to follow. And then once the movie starts, you're fully into it.
iPic. Have you been to iPic?
Yes.
Oh my.
She went to the Landmark Theater here, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. And the one that I go to back in Chicago, it's actually in South Barrington. They treat me like royalty there. And I watch. I'm a good observer, and I watch, and they really treat everybody amazing. They
See,
really,
that's
really
good.
do. Yeah, it's not just me; it's everybody. But I mean, there's the pillows and the blankets, and the server comes and your dinner, and if you drink, they bring you your drinks. You can't beat it. I mean, the comfortable recliners. Sometimes I go to the movies and I'm ashamed to say I fall asleep. I'm so overworked that I go there.
It happens.
But I think that's also a sign of the times of where the movie business is heading, or if it's reactionary to where we are, which is anyone can watch a movie anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
So people don't want to leave their house. They can watch it on their TV. They can watch it on their computer, on their laptop, on their iPad. So to really get people out, you want to create that same sort of living room experience for them with the pillows and the blankets and a wine and all that stuff. It's for some people, it's no longer just going to a movie theater with rows upon rows. The floors are sticky with spilt Coke, and the crinkling of all that. People want a more upscale experience because they have created that for themselves at home.
Yes.
And so the theaters have to follow in that regard now too.
I agree.
So yes, they're all very nice because they have to treat everybody like 100% royalty, or else they won't get returning customers.
You're right. And I love going out. I love getting dressed up and going out. I mean, I'm in gym shoes every day, all day. My workout attire is awesome, but I want to throw a pair of heels on and look sexy. I don't want to just be in gym clothes all day, every single day.
But you do a good job of that, obviously, and your fans love that.
Yeah, they do. My fans are so supportive. Oh my gosh. When I first started in social media, I've only been on social media a couple years. I dug my heels in. I didn't want to believe that this is where the industry was headed.
Right.
I was going to be in the gym and I was going to train people, and that was what I was going to do. But the industry changed. It kind of took a turn, and fitness people had to be on social media. So there I went on social media about 2 years ago. And it's really, I got a piece of advice from somebody who was in social media, and she told me, don't respond to anybody. You need to come across as being a snob and being so important and this and that. And I thought, but that's not me. I don't want to be that person. I'm not a snob, and I want to be friendly with these people. Do you know, I have developed some great relationships with my fans. I've never met most of them. I mean, I've met a handful of them who actually take the time to come to my gym. They fly into Chicago for meetings or whatever. They come to the gym, or I've seen them out. And I really like them. I mean, I feel like I have a relationship with a lot of them, even if I see their names or even their call names on, from Twitter or whatever. I know who they are, and I've developed relationships with them. It's just funny. It's like way back in the day where we had pen pals and we would write letters to each other, from like across the world, and it would take weeks to get there. Well, now it's so much faster, so you can actually do the same type of thing, but it's fun. They're really great people.
What type of charities or causes are you passionate? I imagine you're around different people who have different issues and different things that they're fighting for or worried about, that you must be exposed to so many different types of things that then you all of a sudden start feeling passionate about and want to champion.
Recently, I was just introduced to a charity that I'm involved in, but prior to this one, I would kind of go into whatever family issues, like for instance, the American Heart Association. I used to donate to them. I was big on that. My father had some heart issues. The American Cancer Society, because I had that in my family, and so I would donate to those types of institutions. But I didn't. You always wonder, where's the money actually going? Is it actually going to research? Is it going to the right thing? I mean, I know I'm paying salaries because they're, they have the administrative part of it too, and I get that. But I recently came across, within the last several years actually, it's a Roman Catholic institution, and it was created for the care of the elderly. And it's called Little Sisters. It's St. Joe's Little Sisters, and they have about 31 different places around the world. And they're not funded, they're not state funded, and they're not funded by the Archdiocese. They are strictly funded by benefactors, volunteers, people who are who donate a bunch of money for their cause. They run a beautiful institution. There's one near my home. And they have several different tiers. They have apartments for people who can't really afford to live on their own, or in like a
assisted living.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have apartments, and then they have a second tier, which is more assisted living, and then they have the nursing home type. And when I went to visit this place for the very first time, and I could not believe how well kept it was. And it was early in the morning. It was about 9 a.m. And I went into the nursing home part of it. And first of all, it smelled so fresh and clean. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even realize I was in a nursing home. And as I walked past every room, every single elderly person who was there, they were sitting up in their chair, and the women had their makeup on and their hair done, and they were just watching TV, and the men were decked out, and everybody was clean, and everybody looked happy. And the nuns, it's run by nuns and by volunteers. So what differentiates it from the other nursing homes that I've seen is that everybody who's there wants to be there. They're not there because they have to be there. They're not paid by the state. No one's mad because they're not making enough money. Everybody there wants to be there. I can't even tell you the amount of care that these people get. And they have activities. They have chocolate martini day. They
Wow.
they have wine tasting parties. I mean, it's Catholic. They have wine tasting parties. The place is beautiful. The way they decorate it for the holidays. Right now, if you went into it, you would look like you were going into an Amlings. I don't know if you're familiar with Amlings Nursery. How it's beautiful around the harvest season and around the Christmas season. It's gorgeous.
What made you? How did you find them? Did you have a personal connection to that?
I did.
Capacity?
I actually have two clients who have volunteered there for. One of them, I think it's like 27, 28 years, and the other one 35 years.
Wow.
They've been volunteering their time there and donating a ton of money. And
That's great.
Yeah, so they told me about it, and I couldn't help but get involved when they were selling raffle tickets and so forth. I couldn't help but get involved. I donated not just money, but personal training sessions and gym memberships and things like that. So
You know what I like about that? Your clients have become good friends.
Yeah.
And very, very loyal. That's unusual.
Yeah.
But good.
Yeah, you can't help it. You spend more time with your clients when you do what I do than you do with your own family members. I know more about my clients. I know things I don't want to know. I train some family members who I have secrets about, and I just stand there. I keep my
and
mouth
they're
shut.
about each other,
Yeah.
right?
So I can't. I'm like, don't tell me this. I don't want to hear anything. I have
funny.
to see your husband next. Don't tell me.
That's funny. Tell us something that your fans don't know about you
Oh gosh.
that they would find interesting.
I don't really keep secrets. I don't know anything they don't know about me.
The type of music you listen to.
They know that even.
Okay.
I love Meghan Trainor right now. I can't get enough of her. Michael Jackson all the time. Pitbull. I love 70s music. I think my fans know all of that.
Interesting.
So I can't think of anything they might not know. They know the kind of car I drive. Oh, I just got a little tip from somebody. If I've had a couple drinks in me, I might take my shoes off and show how I could do hang loose with my toes.
Oh, yes. That's funny.
I can actually do that. And it actually looks like hang loose with my toes.
That's funny.
Yeah, but you have to get a couple pops in me.
Well, that's
I don't
why
just
there's
do
vodka
it.
here.
Right.
Provincial. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So, Ariana, where you been lately?
I just came back from Amsterdam. I work at Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, and so we're an anti-poaching nonprofit ocean conservation society, and we have a navy of about a dozen ships around the world, all engaged in defending, conserving, and protecting our ocean. And a lot of the issues with the oceans has to do with overfishing, illegal fishing. We're just depleting our oceans. And I went to Amsterdam, where the headquarters, the global headquarters. The U.S. headquarters are based here in L.A. and Burbank, but I went to the global headquarters in Amsterdam, and that was just an amazing experience, because Amsterdam is completely different from our life here. The houses are all these stacked houses that are tall with no elevators, but just these winding stairs.
Very tiny, small.
Everyone is fit. No
They
one
all bike
drives. They all
everywhere.
bike.
Yeah.
There's not a single fat person.
Yeah.
Was there still all
Amsterdam.
those bikes chained to the...
Everywhere. And the global headquarters is in a a 2-story building where the bottom floor is the e-store. So you can just go right off the street and shop for all that amazing eco-friendly Sea Shepherd clothing. And the second level are the offices. So it was great to have some FaceTime with everybody on that side of the world, and just see how the other half lives.
What did they think about you coming over?
Well, so they've been over here before.
Okay.
So
yeah, but you went to visit them this time.
Yeah. Well, it was really nice. I'm like, you guys have a dishwasher in your kitchen? We don't.
That's funny.
Things we take for granted.
Yeah, those kinds of little things. But we also discussed a lot of the different campaigns that we have going on, and the campaigns that we want to start in the new year. We're working to have a shark campaign in the new year. Sharks are one of my favorite fishes, hammerheads especially. I'm so in love with them. I just love the electrical field that sharks have. They're such special creatures, and they're also the top predator of the ocean. And if you kill them, if you cut their fins off for shark fin soup, which is completely ridiculous and a really ill-advised status symbol in Asian countries, but if you remove the top predator, then it takes away, it breaks the link in the chain, and it leaves other invasive species to come in. And sharks, being the top predator, they keep the oceans clean because they prey on the sick, they prey on the weak, and so they regulate the ocean because they prey on those. So they keep the oceans healthy, and we need that. We need them to continue to do that. And a lot of people are afraid of sharks. Sharks get a bad rap. I can't tell you how much damage Jaws still wreaks havoc on people. Decades later, that movie was not a friend to the oceans, but. So we definitely want to start a shark campaign to continue to fight for sharks, and turtles also. Turtle poaching has been a big issue. Poaching their eggs has been a big issue, and one of the things that here in the U.S. we don't think about, which has been really interesting, something that I started thinking about since I started working at Sea Shepherd, is light pollution. We all talk about pollution, but light pollution is a whole other issue. And that's, for example, in Florida, when all those McMansions are on the beach, they all have beautiful lighting,
right.
And that contributes to light pollution because when turtles hatch, the babies rely on the moon to guide them into the ocean because they're born and they have to make a beeline for the ocean to swim. And if they hatch and there's light pollution, they don't know what's the moon. They don't know, is the moon up there? Is the moon over there? Is the moon over there? And we had a campaign where our ground volunteers followed 6 baby hatchlings into a parking lot because it was lit up, and they were trying to get to the ocean, and they ended up in a parking lot where they could have gotten run over. So light pollution is something that's a problem in developed urban cities. So something to think about if you're, if you have a beach house, if you live in an area like that.
I'll bet that how do you spread the word? Because I'm sure people don't know that.
Yeah.
They would happily turn their lights off.
Exactly.
And the website?
Exactly. Well, seashepherd.org is our website. And we do have turtle campaigns and combating light pollution in the United States, in those areas where turtles do come on the beach and lay eggs, is something that we do. But yes, it's not something that's talked about much, and it is a very important thing to address, and an easy one to fix.
Oh, for sure.
Easy one to fix.
Yeah, it's a matter of getting the word out.
Yeah.
And Linda, give your website also.
My website is lindasteelehotbod.com.
So, Ariana, talk about the campaign when the ships went to Puerto Rico.
Oh, yes. As an ocean conservation society, we do engage in protecting marine life. But when Hurricane Irma and Maria hit, we decided that we were going to slightly alter our our campaign and visit the islands that are in need and give them tarps and water and pet food. I mean, you know, people tend to abandon the animals, or they kind of run into the forest and then they come out and there's nothing there. So, you know, we'll never abandon the animals no matter where we go. We were helping schools come back to life and things like that. We did all the islands, and we're planning to go back in the new year and hit some of the islands that we haven't gone to yet. Puerto Rico will likely be one of them, which we're very, very excited about. And I think in this day and age, you have to think globally. So if you're conserving marine wildlife in the ocean, you can't help but think of the islands in the ocean, and those islands are populated by people. And when you are on a flat land with not a lot of protection and a hurricane hits, the devastation is terrible. Terrible.
A lot of people in Puerto Rico are still without power.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, you can't refrigerate your food.
No.
You know, I can't imagine having to live like for so long. That's unbelievable.
It's going to be a long process to get everyone back on track.
Yeah.
Talk about the documentary.
Oh gosh.
Turn Linda onto it.
Wait, which documentary now?
Was it Paul Mitchell?
Good Fortune. Yeah, one of our.
I'm going to give you a homework assignment, Linda.
All right. Yeah, our ships are named after a lot of our donors. So we have a ship called the Bob Barker. We have a ship called
the Martin Sheen.
We have the Martin Sheen. We have the Bridget Bardot. We have the Sam Simon, and Sam Simon is he founded the Simpsons, one of the Simpsons founder.
Okay.
We have the Steve Irwin, and we have the John Paul DeJoria, and he is responsible for the John Paul Mitchell hair care products and the Tequila Patron.
Okay.
And coincidentally, he loves sharks as well. So maybe we'll work with him on that shark campaign. He's a big fan of sharks. So we have a ship called the John Paul DeJoria, and John Paul had a documentary that came out earlier this year called Good Fortune. And it was all about how he grew up in, L.A. and the foster care system, and he was very poor, and then he got into some gang members, and it just, things weren't going great. But he turned his life around, became a billionaire, and just started giving away his fortune. And he donates to so many causes, including Sea Shepherd. Obviously, we have a ship named after him. But one of my favorite phrases that he says is, in the end, it'll all be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Oh, isn't that nice?
And I love that. Definitely my mantra, because it's true. If it's not okay, it means it's not the end.
Right.
And I was at a public place not too long ago, and I was using the bathroom, and a woman came in, and she ran into the bathroom, and she went up against the wall, and she was trying to dial, and she couldn't, and she burst into tears, and she just started to cry. And I don't know what her name was. I don't know why she was crying. I don't know what the issue was, but she was clearly having a bad day, and she just ran into that bathroom for some type of escape. And I saw her, and I kneeled down next to her, and I just took her hand, and I literally said that. I said, I know obviously it's really tough for you right now, but please believe me when I say, in the end, it's going to be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And I'm here to tell you right now, for you, how you're feeling. I don't know what you're going through, but it's not the end. And I promise you, it will be okay. And she didn't even talk to me. She just continued to sob, but she did listen to me, because there was no one else in there. And then I left, and she needed to hear that. And I felt like if the situation was reversed, and if it was me, and you're in a public bathroom and people are coming and going, you can't just wash your hands and pretend that there's not a person sitting there crying.
Right.
So I just wanted to let her know that whatever it was, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
One of the great things about documentaries, obviously, too, what a great title, Good Fortune. What have you been seeing movie-wise? And movie releases coming up. It's that time of year for us, right?
I went to see a film over the weekend that hasn't come out yet. It's a new Denzel Washington film called Roman Israel Esquire. It's a mouthful of a of a name. It's a fictional character.
It comes out November 17th.
And Denzel plays an attorney who is on the spectrum, and he's got, you know, it's never said what he has. You might say it's a form of Asperger's or something like that, but he's on the spectrum in some capacity. So he's one of those attorneys that you kind of keep in the back room because he knows every law, he knows every rule book, he knows which page it's on. But if you force him to go to court and be on stage, he's not going to do a good job.
Right.
That's not his forte.
I saw previews for this.
Yeah.
I've never seen a movie that I didn't love him in.
Exactly. So therefore you won't be disappointed,
Right.
because it's an amazing performance.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So, Linda, when you're seeing trailers, because a lot of times our screenings just start. So unless I'm going to pay to see a movie to catch up on something, I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, even though we'll probably see it one way or another, and then we may do interviews or whatever. What are you seeing when you go to the movies on those trailers? What gets your attention?
You know, anything action. I love action. And, you know, when they're pretty smart. When you go to see an action movie, they realize you like action movies, so they go ahead and promote all of the other action movies that are about to come out. Just like if you go to see a scary movie, they're going to promote all the scary movies
Yes,
coming out.
yeah.
So it just so happens that I get a lot of the same genre of what I'm used to seeing. So I see a lot of the action ones coming out. I see a lot of the military type movies coming out. I just recently saw American Assassin.
Oh, what a great film.
Oh my gosh.
Did that just
Amazing.
like turn you on when you saw that?
Yes.
Did you want to pick up a gun?
Yeah.
In a good way?
Yeah. Heck yeah. And what was another one? American Made was an amazing movie. And Hitman's Bodyguard. I mean,
Yeah,
all
they
of
were
them.
all good.
They all came out at once, and it just so happens most of my fans know this, that my circle is a lot of military people, CIA, drill sergeants, current people who are currently in the military, veterans, and so I always get one of my very good friends to come with me to see these movies, and I'm always like, is that real? Did that really happen? Does that and my poor friends who come to see the movies with me, because I always want the details. And but yeah, those are the movies that really interest me.
As a Marvel fan, did you see the Spider-Man movie that came out in the summer?
Yeah.
I watched that on the plane when I was coming back from Amsterdam. But you know, when you're on a 9-hour flight or 10-hour flight, you can really cram a lot of films in that you hadn't seen. And so I did see Wonder Woman in the summer, which I loved, but I didn't get a chance to see Spider-Man. So watching it, I love. My favorite of a comic book film is always the origin story, always the very first one that establishes how they've come to be.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed this one because just seeing the kid just come into his own and get his new.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. That's why my favorite Iron Man will always be the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Even though, full disclosure, I played myself in it. I was a journalist. I was literally Zoriana in there.
I thought that was pretty cool.
And
Did you know that, Linda? She played
No.
herself in there?
but see, the thing is, I always forget that. So when I tell people that my favorite one was the first one, people are like, "Yeah, because you're in it." But I'm just like,
No, that's not the reason.
It's not the reason. I love the origin of it all.
I agree. It's so hard when they come out with the second or the third one. It's so hard to beat the first one.
Yes,
it
because the
is.
discovery of their powers is already it's done. So
Right.
now they're just on an adventure fighting. Well, it's not just, but they're established and you're expanding that universe as opposed to giving birth to it. And there's something about giving birth to the universe
Right.
that's so just arresting if it's done right.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Tossing out a few movies. When you think of the movie Glory with Denzel Washington, what comes to mind? Either one of you.
Refresh my memory.
The first black regiment coming out of Boston, and they went to go fight in the South. First time they got the uniforms and pick up guns, heading into the South.
Listen, it's been a while since I've seen that film, and I lived in Canada when I saw it, so the issues there are definitely
Definitely
not the
different.
issues that are here.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if I were to rewatch it, I would probably find it to be very timely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. What got you into watching films? Was it something you grew up on that just did it for you? Will you continually go to the movies, which I think is great?
No, I went to movies as a kid, but what did it for me was a very good friend of mine, my mentor actually, who saw the type of person I was, that I literally could not sit down and stop doing something. Every minute of my day had to have a
Interesting.
purpose. I was neurotic. I have OCD. I can't sit still. And he actually forced me to sit and watch a movie. And the very first time I watched a movie with him, it was at my house. And this is a true story. We put the movie on, and I went and I took a drawer out of my kitchen. You know, everybody has a junk drawer. I took the junk drawer out of my kitchen. I sat it on my lap, and I was going to organize it while he watched the movie.
I do stuff like that.
And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I have to do something. I can't just sit here the whole time and watch a movie." He said, "That's the whole point, so that you could just sit here and do nothing." And it was like, I felt like I was going crazy, like crawling out of my skin.
Because you could be doing different things.
Yes,
See,
all of
I
the things
can't
I should
do
be
that
doing.
with movies. I can't, because if my mind wanders, let's say I'm on the elliptical, and my mind wanders, I need to stop and rewind
Yes.
and catch
Well,
up, because I want to make sure I don't miss
It was
anything.
a learning process, and you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And then once I learned it's okay to not do something for 2 hours straight. It's
Exactly.
okay
Yeah.
to relax. It's actually
See that
really
future
healthy.
fitness people? Listen to Linda. It's
Yeah.
okay to go to the movies and not think about what you're not
Yes.
eating or meal prep.
Yeah.
It's okay. You have to. That's called a balance.
But by the way, if somebody feels that they need to do something, you can always choose a movie that's a documentary or
Yes.
a foreign
Yes.
film, because there are some days where I feel like my mind's not working out. My body is, but my mind isn't. So I'll choose to watch a documentary
Where you
to
can learn.
educate
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, documentaries are still my favorite.
I
types
love
of
documentaries.
Movies. Yeah, because
I love history movies. I love.
yeah, because I feel like I'm doing two things at once.
Yep. I agree.
Well, speaking of documentary TV movies, the one I really liked lately on PBS was the Ken Burns documentary on the Vietnam War. I love the history of what they were talking about. The 10-part series is still on. You could still catch up with that. I saw Mr. Dynamite, Alex Gibney. He did a documentary on James Brown, which is on Netflix.
How is that?
It's
I
really
love
good.
Alex
it's
Gibney.
really good. And in case you don't know, she does a lot of interviews, celebrity interviews, which is good, but she doesn't talk about it. I don't know why, but she doesn't.
She's
But
humbling.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's a really good documentary, and it just went to Netflix. And I'm like, well, let me just check this out. And I'm like, oh, the first thing I'm looking at, who directed it, because I need to know. And I'm like, wow, this is really good. It's almost just as good as the feature film that was produced by Mick Jagger. Really, really good. I would suggest that, because I've been catching up on a lot of the TV stuff lately. And obviously, you may not be a TV watcher, but at least you go to the movies, which my hat goes off to you, because I keep telling people in fitness, go to the movies. Take that break. Go out and support the arts, because you know what? They all want to be in the movies, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
No, it's really, it's a shame that I don't see people out more often.
And you're in Chicago, you get dressed up and go out.
Yeah, of course.
So there's no excuse.
No, I know. No, it's just something fun to do. I can't imagine my life without movies. I don't get to watch a lot of TV. Again, my time is very limited. There are nights I don't get home from work till 9, 10 o'clock p.m. And I also really enjoy watching hockey. And so I have to make a decision. I either get to watch a hockey game or I get to watch TV. So if the Blackhawks are playing, I'm watching hockey.
Well, there's a good documentary on Netflix called The Guardians of Ice,
Oh.
which is really good on fighting in hockey, concussions in hockey.
Okay.
Really good. And again, I said, as Oriana knows, the balance of working on TV and then watching feature films and then going out to do the interviews, our time is kind of like your time. Because if we have to watch 3 to 5 films in different locations, and then on weekends when we're not traveling, going to do junkets, which is, when I think back to that, how did we do it? I'm not even married, and that was tough doing that.
I think when you're young, you can afford to, eat a little bit of worse food and have a little less sleep. And I
Right.
think the older you get, you just you just adjust your lifestyle. Pretty soon I'll be in Chicago in that nice home that smells nice, run by nuns.
Yeah. I want to get. Is it too early for me to get on the wait
list? Exactly. Maybe I should put my name on there.
3
too.
meals a day.
That's funny.
Wine tasting.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be 80 or 90 years old and tasting wine. Right.
They have a coffee shop there. They have an ice cream parlor.
Please.
I want to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Let's talk about some of the movies coming up because we're almost in the month of December.
Yes. Tomorrow I'm seeing
The Darkest Hour.
Yes,
How did I know that? 'Cause I'm Brian Sebastian.
Yes, it's I've really been getting into. I know you said you enjoy historical things. This is a biopic on Winston Churchill. Now, there's obviously he's been covered in films a lot of times, but
There was like 1 or 2 other films earlier this year, but this is the one with Gary Oldman.
This is the one with Gary Oldman.
Keep
and
your eye
when
out
you
for this.
watch the trailer, you already it's not Gary Oldman. I mean, you
Right.
really have to look at that face and go, wait, there is Gary in there somewhere. I can see it, but he is unrecognizable. And it's based on a book by one of his personal secretaries. So
Interesting.
I can't wait to see that. So I'm going to the premiere tomorrow. I can't wait to check it out.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Where's the premiere?
It is on. Well, I better not say it in case
okay. Yeah.
people show up.
Yeah, your fans.
Yeah. We'll keep that one under wraps until after. Yeah.
Well, you got the Justice League coming out. Is the November 17th?
Yeah, I haven't gotten into the DC universe quite as much as the Marvel, but because I loved Wonder Woman so much, I just may get off my butt and go see it because I really like Gal Gadot and that character.
Yeah, I'm rooting for her. Marvel fan, DC comic fan. Doesn't matter to you?
I like both.
Because to me, you're that power woman. That's why.
The Wonder Woman movie was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they cast that perfectly, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for Marvel to have that female empowerment movie. They have not done that. They've done nothing with Scarlett Johansson's character as the Black Widow.
And she's awesome, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they really have a lot. They could do a lot with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as one versus the other, it's so hard to say. I like them for different reasons, but I tend to go more toward the Marvel, probably because of the powerful,
Yeah, I mean, and we've known that universe longer because they've done it better for more years. And DC's playing catch up a little bit, but now they're starting to catch up a little bit, and they're having Batman issues. I mean, how many times has Batman been recast? But on the flip side,
but I look at that as a Superman problem also.
Okay, well, or a Hulk problem. How many Hulks have we had between Edward Norton and Eric Bana and now Mark Ruffalo?
Mark is great.
I love Mark Ruffalo.
So, yes, Superman's,
Can we put an end to it soon? I mean, can we just stop for a couple of years and not do another one of them? There's so many other characters.
But look at how many Spider-Mans we've had. We've had Tobey Maguire, we've had Andrew Garfield, and now we have the
young kid.
Yes, the young kid.
He's also good.
Yeah,
He's
he
good.
is. He is.
Yeah.
If you had a favorite celebrity to meet, who would it be and why?
My gosh, I haven't thought about it lately, but at one point it was Bradley Cooper, just because I just love his attitude. I love, and it goes back to the movie The Hangover.
Oh,
his whole disposition in that movie is so like, I just love how nonchalant he is. But I also love Tony Stark,
Robert Downey Jr.
Love him again because of his attitude. I love The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Love him. And the Wonder Woman character, I forget her name.
Gal Gadot, yeah.
Yes, love her. So
they're all very strong, very powerful, either characters or personalities.
Right, every one of them. And you just like I said, when you watch them in movies, you just kind of feel a connection. And I feel like a connection with all of them. I've had a dream about them where I feel like we're friends. I would love to meet any one of them.
Also, they all have their own presence. I think moviegoers naturally gravitate towards them, and then when you see them on screen, I think the camera naturally gravitates toward their energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Linda, talk about fashion. How important is fashion to you and meal prep? Because obviously you stay in shape. Obviously, you're doing everything that you're doing, but why is that important?
The meal prep. I'll start with meal prep, and because when you meal prep, you by default are going to look exactly the way you want to look if you work out the right way as well. And
Wait,
that,
so you didn't eat all that Halloween candy? Because I just went right. That was the first thing I went to when I walked in the door.
I didn't. I did not. So
be better.
the meal prep is so important, and when you look the way you want to look, you can fit into any fashion you want to fit into. I mean, really. But the meal prep, again, because my schedule is so regimented, I have very little time for error. I have to make sure that I'm cooking and I have meals ready for myself.
Which takes a lot of time.
It really does. I take in fact, it's to a point now where I have somebody do my grocery shopping for me.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do my own meal prep, but if I can't, I have somebody cook for me. But I know exactly how long I'm at work. I know exactly what meals I have to bring in every day. And because I have back-to-back clients, I either am eating with a client while I'm training them, or I'm like taking 4 minutes in between clients to just shove a meal down my throat. I drink about 2 to 3 protein shakes a day because, again, I just don't have time to sit and cut up my food and sit and eat. So the meal prep is important. When you're eating really clean and eating enough calories, your body is going to start falling into a position where you're going to be losing body fat just by accident, especially if you're getting your 3 workouts in a week. Balance of your cardiovascular activity and your weightlifting, it's really all important. And when your body settles into its essential body fat, you're actually shaped by muscle, it looks great. Everything you put on looks amazing. It really does. So I tend to dress a little bit more sexy than most people. Women have a tendency to dress for other women, whereas I don't. I dress for men. If I'm not getting, if my date isn't getting high fives by total strangers, I've failed.
I like that. That's funny. That's great.
It's the truth. You want the man you're with, you want to make him proud. You want to make him
That's
be like,
true.
look who I'm with. So I dress for men. I don't like baggy things. I don't like things draped over me. I tend to wear very fitted clothing. I show a little bit more than some people, but it's what I'm comfortable in. I actually am comfortable with fitted clothes. I'm not comfortable in things baggy. So I just dress that way. And confident women love it. They know exactly what I'm doing. They know exactly why I'm doing it. And I feel like a lot of women, when they've seen me wear my 6-inch heels and my fitted clothing and my low cut, it gives them permission. Like, oh, we can wear that, and
Isn't that empowerment?
it really is. And if the stores are selling it, people are buying it. So when I have women who look at me like, ugh, what are you wearing? I want to remind them the stores are selling this stuff, so somene's buying it. So just
point.
because you
Not
don't
like you're
like
sitting
it,
at night with a sewing machine.
right, going, I'm designing all my own stuff. I don't have that kind of time.
That's funny.
So and that's another way that I gauge if I've really nailed my outfit is the number of dirty looks I get from other women. I'm like, okay, I got it.
It's a shame because because I don't dress like that, and I do prefer something looser and baggier. But that's also because I'm a mom, and I'm always running a few beats behind, always trying to play catch up. I just want to be comfortable and warm. And
You look good when you get dressed up. I've seen your photos.
Yeah, but it's not like that's, to me, that's a chore. Like that's like, oh, tonight I have to dress up.
I think when your kids get older, things might change for you. You might turn back into wanting to make yourself look a certain way.
Sure.
And not everybody feels this way, but I feel this way, that when I look really good, I feel really good.
Yeah.
My whole attitude changes if I feel good about
But I would
what
never
I'm-
disparage, like if I saw you on the street in your 6-inch heels and in everything that you're wearing, I wouldn't disparage you for, I would, to each his own kind of
Right.
thing. And God bless you for loving yourself and working hard to have the body that you have and to show it off. Like,
Right.
terrific.
That's because you're good spirited.
But it's a shame that you have to endure that from other women, because there's enough to endure anyways.
I know. I try to turn it around, and I actually feel sorry for women who have that attitude, because it's really a reflection on them. It really is. I'm all about live and let live. So when I come across somebody who's not, it's really their issue. It's not my issue.
Yeah.
So, and again, when you're good-spirited, you don't have that initial reaction when you see another woman looking good or being successful or being, happy with themselves. You think, oh, wow, look at this. Isn't this great? God bless.
Exactly.
That's a good-spirited person. Mean-spirited people, they tend to be the other way.
Well, what's the point of judging? I mean, what am I condemning? That you look awesome?
Right, right.
I don't, if I wanted that, then I would quit what I'm doing and open a gym and train and eat and do all that stuff. But I'm stealing Halloween candy.
And it makes you happy, so do it.
So, to each his own.
I would never look at another woman or man and think, oh my gosh, what are you wearing? Never.
Yeah.
No, not everybody dresses like me. Most people don't. And I would never look down upon them because of it. I would never. It just doesn't. The thought doesn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. I don't even think I can walk in 6-inch stiletto heels.
Well, I know I can't.
I'd take my Uggs any day, and I'd just prefer to be in that. But you look amazing in your 6-inch stiletto heels, and God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Last time around, Linda, talk about your website and what's the best social media for people, your fans, and people who don't know you to contact you on.
I would say the best place to contact me, honestly, is probably email. Social media, there are so many different, direct messages and so forth, and it's very hard for me to get to all of the messages that I get. I have, I don't even know how many followers on each of the platforms, but when I have people leave comments on Facebook, I'm able to get to them because I go on periodically. Twitter also, I'm able to, if they comment
You're hot on
the
Twitter.
public, if they comment on the public platform, but if they private message me, it's very difficult for me to get to all of them. So, but if they have something specific they need to talk to me about or ask me about, email's probably the best. My email is lindasteelehotbod@gmail.com. And but my website I have a exclusive section on my website that has some pictures that haven't been out on social media.
Right.
And I've already mentioned my website, lindasteelehotbod.com. So yeah, I would say via email if you have some specific personal questions that you need to ask.
Zoriana, coming up before you leave, what's happening?
Well, I think I'll be emailing you to ask advice about walking in stiletto heels when that day comes for me. Because I'm sure there'll be an event where that will be required.
Yes,
so I thank you for your email.
Of course, anytime.
If anyone wants to learn more about Sea Shepherd, support us, donate. We've got a lot of campaigns to conserve the ocean, and it's important for everyone to be involved, for future generations, for current generations. Just go to seashepherd.org. We also have a donate button on there. You can do recurring monthly donations. You can do a one-time donation, or you can go to our e-store. We've got some fantastic gear, and the proceeds go to our organization as well.
Did you mention a website?
www.seashepherd.org.
And I want to thank everybody for coming, obviously. Thank those people who tune into us weekly. I want to thank the Restroom Kit because I'm going to have them donate at least 100 of these to you guys for Sea Shepherd so you can put them on the ships and everything, which will be good.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for Provincial Vodka. Thank you for getting them into Gelson's now, which is great. And I look forward to seeing everybody pretty soon. And don't forget to go to the movies. If you see someone about to smile, please give them one of yours. And don't forget to subscribe to www.youtube.com/movie reviews, the letter N more, movie reviews and more. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.